We are on the clock, the redstone clock that is. Today we're spending our first prestige point. We're going to set up some automatic hopping bonsais, automated iron production, and we're going to set up a basic marketplace. Ahead on this episode of SkyFactory 4. Hey everyone, this is Luke and welcome back to SkyFactory 4 on Channel Endgame. So our video series now is ready to kick up into the next gear. We have finished off all of the basic beginning advancements on the advancement roadmap, and we're ready to kick into some more of the fun and wacky stuff. So as a bit of a recap, last episode we worked towards and achieved our very first prestige point by completing the basic advancement chart. So starting off with pretty much everything here. So we've completed all of the basic stuff, and now we are ready to kick it into completing things like the Age of Enhancement advancements. We've got the Age of Farming, we've got the Age of Power, Age of Storage, Age of Exploration, and Age of all the things. Oh my god, lol. Alright, so we've got a ton of stuff to get through still, and we're still working towards, of course, our Parabox, which is going to get us on the road to a whole bunch more prestige points. So exciting stuff ahead. But now that we've actually got our first prestige point, the first order of the day is going to be using that little sucker and actually turning on some options when it comes to automation. So from this point forwards, it's going to really mean that we need a lot of resources. We're going to start needing a whole lot more iron, a whole lot more gold, a whole lot more, of all these different things that we've been able to get from our resource trees up until now. We're going to need to turn it up and really start cranking through some of these resources. So the best way for us to do that is going to be to start looking into automating these bonsai pots, okay? And our prestige chart and our first point is going to allow us to do exactly that. So let's jump into the prestige chart. So we have, of course, got 1 point now. We have got that first point, which we've gotten from unlocking that first tab. And while there are a few things here that you can spend 1 point on, you'll see that a lot of them are actually connected from that center one, which is the first logical and absolutely the choice we're going to make today, which is unlocking Zen Garden. So it unlocks the hopper bonsai to further automate resource collection. And we're going to do that right now. There we go. Turn it on. It is blue. We have 0 prestige points left. We're going to have to work towards some more, but we have just unlocked the Zen Garden Prestige achievement. So, all right, so we unlocked bonsai trees. That means now when we jump into the advancements logbook again, if you look under the Age of Farming, you'll actually see down under the bonsai advancement, now we've actually got one for Kawa Bonsai, which is upgrading the hopping pot bonsai to automatically insert into chests and other inventory blocks. Fantastic. So let's actually go and build a bunch of these suckers. Now, I thought ahead when it came to how we were going to organize all of our resources with this. And this is exactly why we've got 2 bonsai pots and a chest arranged under each one of these here. So the plan is we're going to have each of these bonsai pots replaced by a hopping bonsai pot. And then it's going to feed down into the chest and hopefully start building up a whole bunch of resources for us. So now one of the key ones we're going to want first is the iron. So we want that making iron for us as quickly as possible. So let's actually get a couple of hopping bonsais done for that now. So I'm just going to harvest those iron saplings and I'm going to take the contents out of those pots. So all of the saplings are now in our inventory. And we're just going to break those bonsai pots because we're actually going to need those bonsai pots as part of the recipe to make the hopping bonsais. So easy peasy. Now, hopping bonsais, piece of cake. It literally, the recipe is getting a bonsai pot and sticking a hopper underneath. So while we're here, we can actually unlock a few of the advancements concerning the hoppers. So let's have a jump into the Age of Storage, and you'll see that up the top here, we've actually got 3 hopper related advancements. So we've got Whopper, which is craft a wooden hopper. We've got Hop to It, which is just a regular hopper. And then we've also got the upside down hopper, which is called an upper, which we can create as well very easily. So we don't actually need any wooden hoppers right now, but you know what? I'm going to craft one anyway because we can actually knock off all 3 of these advancements right now. So let's do it. So, all right, let's go and look up the recipe for the wooden hopper. And it's pretty much what you'd expect. It is a chest with a whole bunch of wooden planks on the sides of it. So we have tons of wood as it turns out. We're going to need a few chests for this. So I'm just going to create 4 of them. And yeah, we can chuck a chest in the middle. We can put a bunch of those planks there, and there is our wooden hopper. We're not going to need that for much else apart from just that advancement. Oh, we might use it for a couple of things. We'll see. All right, but as far as the metal ones go, we're pretty much going to make them the same way that you would make a hopper in vanilla Minecraft. So nothing's changed here. We've got the same hopper recipe. We can grab a couple of those, and to make the upper, it's actually just as simple as putting the hopper back in your crafting grid there, and it actually turns it upside down into an upper, which is really cool. And you can also put it back into the grid to turn it back the other way and get your original hopper back. So we've just unlocked that advancement pretty much for free. So yeah, there we go. All right, so we've got our 2 hoppers. We've got our 2 bonsai pots. I'm just going to chuck those into the grid. Now we've got our hopping bonsai pot. So make 2 of those, and then we're just going to go and replace them on top of the chest, and you'll see exactly how they'll work straight away. So here we go. We have hopping bonsai. Need to put our dirt back in them before we put the iron saplings back in. So there we go. Whoops. Taking care not to right click when you chuck the dirt on, otherwise you'll place the actual block. All right, and then we want the iron saplings. So let's grab those again. 2 of those ready to go. Plant them, and we are off to the races. All right, so you'll see that the hopping bonsai pots look visibly very similar to the regular ones. There's a slight difference. There's that very small sort of little arrow underneath, which indicates that they are a hopping bonsai pot. But yeah, they will work exactly as they did before. The key difference now being is that we don't actually have to use our axe or our paxel to harvest the trees when they're done. As soon as they get to 100%, they're just going to drop straight into the chest, and they're going to keep doing that as long as we've got them. So what we really need to do now is over the course of the next, there you go, they've just jumped into the chest. Over the course of the next little while, I'm going to actually work towards replacing all of these bonsai pots. And we've got quite a few to get through, as well as additional ones that we're going to have to create from more saplings that we're going to do shortly. So we need to make, 3 by 6, essentially. 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, that's a whole lot. We're going to be looking at, I mean, by the time we've actually collected all of the additional saplings that are going to be in our collection to work towards, we're going to have over 100 of these things going. But doing the work now, and the pain that it is actually getting the resources together to create those bonsai pots, it's going to be worth it, because it's going to speed up our resource production massively. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a break for a minute and work towards all of those. And just as a quick recap, now we have our first hopper advancement. So we've got the wooden hopper and the regular and the upper. And we've also, in the Age of Farming, just unlocked the Cower Bonsai advancement as well. So I'll be back in a few, and I'll upgrade a whole bunch of these pots, and then we can move on to some more automation. And there we go. We have 42 hopping bonsai pots, all mass producing resources for us in a huge clut there. All right, that's fantastic. So now, surprisingly, as much as that is, that's actually only the start of the sorts of resources that we need to produce using these bonsai pots. And as far as the saplings go, we've still got a bunch to do. So going back to our advancement logbook, we also have, if we jump ahead to the Age of Farming, one of the achievements here is actually all the trees. And over the coming episodes, we're going to be working towards getting the last remaining ones that we haven't unlocked yet. So we've got to get osmium, netherrack, copper, ardite, glowstone, emerald, nickel, cookie, quartz, and cobalt. So we might even have a crack at a couple of those today. So yeah, if we do the math and work out that we're going to need at least another 2 for each of these of bonsai pots to sort of get all of that going, then that's another 20 pots all up. So we're going to have to... A next priority for us is actually going to be having to increase our base platform size quite a bit. But now that we've got access to some diamonds tools, there's quite a bit more we can do with the layout, and I think I might do a bit of a redesign sort of coming up in the coming episodes. So yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, you can see these are cranking along quite well. Now the iron saplings, which are harvesting down into this chest here. Now you'll notice that as we go through and watch these bonsai pots sort of spit out their contents into the chest below, we end up with like all the good stuff like the resin and the acorns, but we also end up with a lot of the junk too. So the sticks and the oak wood in particular, we're going to end up with way more of that than we ever need. So rather than have it clutter up the chest here until we have a more elegant storage solution, there is another way you can make sure that you're only getting the bits that you want in the meantime, and that's by actually filling up all of the remaining spaces in the chest with only the stuff that you're actually after. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the iron resin, and we're just going to fill up all of these spots here with the resin, and then we're going to grab the acorns, and we're just going to fill up all these spots here with the acorns and get rid of the rest, which we don't really want too much extra of. So there we go. And that means that we pretty much are only keeping all of the really choice bits there inside the chest, and the rest of the stuff we'll have a very, very small amount of in the top line. So that's a good way for that to keep going. So we might go a few more leaves. Don't that many sticks. Maybe we'll have some extra saplings. Yep, that looks good. Alrighty, so with that out of the way, we can actually have a look at some of our tools. So now that we've got automated diamond production pretty much going crazy, lots and lots of diamond acorns, which we can combine on the grid, 9 of them makes a single diamond. I think it's time to upgrade our paxel. So at the moment, we're only using the stone paxel. I think it's well and truly time for us to upgrade to the diamond paxel, given that we've got all the resources for that now. So let's do it. We have 7 diamonds and we've got a bunch of sticks, so let's just quickly get that recipe going again. So we've got the shovel, we have, of course, the pickaxe, so grab that, and we also have 3 for the axe itself. So once again, axe on the front, pickaxe in the middle, and shovel on the rear. No, that's not right. We have pickaxe, hang on. Maybe we can't make a diamond paxel. I should probably check that. So let's do a search for paxel. We have diamond paxel. We do have a diamond paxel. Oh, of course, I was forgetting the extra sticks. So there we go. Diamond paxel. Bam. Fantastic. This stone paxel we don't really need anymore, so we can probably just throw that right off the edge. So there we go. All right. Fantastic. And we have a brand shiny new paxel to use. Great. All right, so now on the topic of the iron production, we actually have quite a bit of iron that's been coming through our melter as it currently stands. So I've been pouring full blocks of the iron, which is nice and easy because you tend to get quite a bit of the molten iron out of the iron acorns and the iron sap, or if you want to put it together and make the resin, you get a good sort of solid 6 ingots worth out of that. But what I actually want to do is to actually automate the production of iron ingots and other styles of ingots as well. But we're going to use the casting table to do that. And in order to set that up properly, we're going to have to create an ingot mold. Okay. So an ingot being the same shape as a brick, we can pretty much create it from pouring molten metal over a brick shape of any sort, or an actual iron ingot. So let's just clear one of these. I'm just going to pour out all of the iron for one of these. Now, there's a couple of different cast types that you can make. So if I was to type in cast, you can see there's a whole bunch of casts here that are generally made out of either clay or they're a hardened casts, which is made out of either gold or aluminum brass. Okay, now we're not onto making aluminum brass just yet, but gold is entirely within our reach, so we can make some gold casts pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a single iron ingot and we're going to chuck that onto the casting table, and then we're going to get some gold in there and we're actually going to pour it onto that ingot to make ourselves an ingot cast. So let's find our gold. Where's our gold tree hiding? Over here. Okay, no, that's iron. Where is our gold? Here it is. Okay, so we can make some gold amber pretty easily, but I actually don't need amber in this case. I'm just going to put some gold acorns in there. That should be all that we need. If we do a quick search for molten gold in JEI, we'll see that a single golden acorn actually makes 1 nugget worth of molten gold. So if we want a whole ingot worth though, actually maybe we will use the resin. Yeah, we want a little bit more. We're going to create a few casts moving forward. So we want 4 of the acorns, we want 5 of the resin, and we can create ourselves some gold amber. Nice and easy like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the resin. There we go, gold amber. All right, so gold amber straight into the melter here is going to give us enough molten gold to pour over that ingot. Okay. Now, in the meantime, let's get that last bit pouring. Now, what I want to do with this melting area here is I actually want to automate this somewhat and set up a couple of what are called redstone clocks to actually automatically do the process of when I'm ticking on these faucets. So I'm not always going to be here to tick on the faucets and force the pour. I want a machine to actually automatically do that for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up some hoppers and some chests that will pull material from under the casting tables. And then we're going to set up a redstone clock to actually automate the process for us. So starting with just underneath here, let's cut away and we're going to put a hopper down and we're going to put a chest down. So let's go the chest first. So the chest can just sit in there for us, which we can access pretty easily from here. And then the hopper, which is going to be a little trickier because we actually need to get the angle right, but we've got to create a hopper first. So, all right, so let's grab a chest. Again, a couple of ingots of iron, and there's our hopper. All right, so I'm just going to do one of these to sort of demonstrate, and then I'll set the rest up in a moment. So hopper, let's stick that down there. All right, so that should be pointing into the chest. Yes, it is. All right, so that iron block that I had sitting in the casting basin before has dropped straight into the chest. That's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. So we're going to set up the same on the other side as well, and we'll set up the same going onto the casting tables too, so they can pull the ingots straight off the tables into chests also. And then moving on, we'll actually have a way to automate that even further by connecting all of our inventories together and pulling all of the metal that we're casting into one central holding place. So, all right, now we've got the molten gold ready to pour, so we've got the cast ready to create, so we'll get that going now. And creating an ingot cast. Nice and easy. Now, the only trick with this is that the inside of the cast, so the iron ingot that I put down, is actually consumed during the process. So if you don't have enough iron to spare and you don't want to waste it, you could use something else like a clay brick or something like that. It essentially does the same thing. But now that we've actually got that cast on the table, we can pour other metals into it and actually create those ingots. So I'll just grab that, and we want to create maybe another one. So we'll grab some more gold. I'll actually get enough to do two of the casts this time, because what I'm going to do is create one cast and actually demonstrate creating some ingots out of it as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So get that gold amber happening, and there we go. All right, 2 blocks of gold amber. Chuck that in the melter. Now, to save on wasting that iron this time, I think I might actually use a clay brick. I've got enough of those spare, so just to show that the same thing works. All right, clay brick, fantastic. Okay, so let's have a look at that redstone clock. Going back to the crafting table and looking at JEI. Typing in clock brings up a few really interesting looking clocks. We've got some of the actual grandfather clock looking things that we're going to access later on when we're creating our parabox. But the one we're actually after right now is this little doodad, the redstone clock. So if we look at the recipe, we can see it requires a bit of iron and some redstone and a redstone repeater as well. So all up, we're going to need 1, 2, 3, probably about 7 redstone. Okay. So making redstone is pretty straightforward. Again, we can just search up the recipe for redstone blocks. And I'm pretty sure it's just acorns. Yep, redstone acorns, just like the diamond block. So here is our automatic redstone supply. And let's actually create a few of these blocks, because we're going to be using a little bit of redstone moving on now that we're getting into some of the more automated stuff. So there we go. Redstone blocks and redstone dust. Perfect. Okay, so I think we've got everything we need for this recipe now, because we've got a bunch of iron ingots. So we go back to redstone clock. we just need to make that repeater. There's a really, really nice recipe for the repeater in SkyFactory 4, so you don't actually have to make the redstone torches. It allows you to actually create them yourself using the sticks and the redstone. We are going to need cooked stone though, so that is the one thing I haven't done yet. Let's chuck in... Actually, we might need a little bit of it moving forward, so let's just cook up 12 of them. Okay. All right, that gold is ready to go, so I'm just going to pour that over the clay brick to create our second cast. And then once that cast is hardened, I'm actually going to create a gold ingot out of the cast. So despite the fact that it's made of the same material, it totally works. So there we go. There is the gold ingot. Fantastic. Now you can actually use clay to create a cast as well, instead of pouring molten gold or molten aluminum brass over the top of the item. But if you use a clay cast, the cast is consumed after every casting. So it seems a bit pointless to me. You might as well actually get something that's going to last. So setting those tables up like so, now both of those are ready to go when it comes to multiple castings of ingots. And we can have gold running through that, we can have iron running through that, we can have whatever we need running through that. Pretty straightforward. And there's another gold ingot. Perfect. Easy peasy. All right. So we've got enough stone now, so let's get a couple of these going. So... redstone repeater, let's make 2 of those because we're going to want to repeat this recipe. And let's get a couple of the redstone clocks going. There we go. 2 clocks. Fantastic. All right. Now the clocks, we're going to have one for each of these casting basins, I think, and then we'll make a couple later on to do the casting tables with the ingots. So with the clocks, pretty straightforward. I'll just chuck a dirt block up here as a spacer, just because we're going to put the clocks next to those. So there we go, 1, 2, and then get rid of the spacers. Okay, so these redstone clocks, you can actually see are flashing at the moment. They have a timed pulse which they provide, and you can actually set it as always on, or you can set it as requires redstone if you want to activate it using other more remote methods. But the way this works is you can have the duration for the pulse and the delay between the pulse set to whatever you like. So I'm going to drop that right down when it comes to the duration of the pulse, because it only needs to be a very short pulse. And the delay between the pulse, I think we can probably set to, let's set that to about 80. It doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it's not like it's consuming power, but we're not going to be pouring, you know, casting basins full of molten metal as often as we would be doing the ingots. So let's just drop that back down to 1 again, and let's increase that to 80. I think that's about right. Okay. And you can also have it to pulse on different sides as well. So if you want to have a redstone clock only pulsing on one particular side so as to not activate something else that you've got connected to it on another angle, then you can totally do that too, which is really handy. Okay, so now that those redstone clocks are pulsing, we're going to put this to the test, and we're actually going to put some iron inside the top here, the molten iron, and we're going to see if it automates our pouring out of the iron into the casting basin and then dropping the brand new iron block into the hopper and then into the chest for us. So here we go. Let's grab a bunch of the resin and the acorns, and you can see now that this is actually filling up exactly how we want it, we're going to have heaps of resin and heaps of acorns before too long, which is great. So, all right. Once again, let's get this all ambered up for us. 6 blocks of iron amber, that's perfect. So we're going to put 3 in here. We're going to put 3 in here, and we're going to let that melt down. Now, if this all goes according to plan, in a moment, we should have an additional block of iron that ticks through here, automatically pours, and goes straight into the chest. So anyway, we'll come back to that. In the meantime, I want to take a look at some of these saplings that we're yet to create. So next on the list, I think we're going to be taking a look at the nickel sapling. So in order to create a nickel sapling, we need an iron sapling. We have to pour molten nickel over it. Now, this is similar to some of the ones we've done before, where all we have to do is to create the nickel resin, which is quite easy to do using components from some of the other saplings that we've gotten. The nickel amber, I should say. So nickel amber is actually made using petrified resin, bone resin, sand resin, and brown coloring of some sort. So cocoa beans are perfect for that. Now we can actually get cocoa beans from a couple of different places, but one of the places we can get them, I believe, is the market. So creating a market is actually on our to-do list. It is in fact on the Age of Farming. So this little piggy, craft and place the market to buy seeds, saplings, flowers, and food. Now, we can get most of the seeds and saplings and food through all of the methods that we've been exploring already, but sometimes it's nice and convenient just to be able to buy what you want from the market straight away. And the market's pretty cool too, so we're going to create one of these. So the recipe for the market is remarkably simple. It just requires a little bit of wood and a little bit of wool. So here we go. We've got wooden trunks or logs. We've got the planks and we've got a single thing of red wool. So creating wool is pretty straightforward because we've got a bunch of string, so we can just make wool out of the string that we've got. So there's a thing of white wool. Red coloring is easy because we've got poppies. So we've got a rose red coloring right there. So we can chuck that next to the wool and we've got red wool. And we've got all the logs and the planks. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go 1, 2, and we go red wool. And there is our market. Fantastic. Now, the fun thing with the market is that when you place it, it actually brings in its own customer service representative. And you need to be careful where you place it because you need to give him room to actually sit there. So now we're definitely pressed for space at the moment, and we're going to be rearranging all of this in the very, very near future. But for the meantime, I'm just going to stick our market, I think, maybe... Let's just stick him on this little grassy bit for now, actually. Oh, actually, right next to the grassy bit. There we go. We'll put it there. And you hear the sound effect. Here he comes. And bang, there we go. There is our market manager, Marlon. So the name you get is entirely random. I've seen some hilarious ones. I've seen Judge Judy as a market manager, a couple other amusing ones. But anytime we want to buy from the market, we just come up and we chat to Marlon here, and we can see all of the different things we can buy. So we've got a bunch of seeds we can buy. We've got a list of saplings. Now, these are most of the vanilla Minecraft saplings, so all the basic ones, not the specialized ones that give us the huge amounts of resources. But we've also got flowers, so there's a good way to get some of our colorings there. And we've got other, and there's a bunch of things we can buy here, like more bone meal or raw produce eggs. If we want to get some chickens going, we can grab some eggs there. Now, my question was whether they had brown coloring. I actually don't think they do. Maybe we don't. So if we didn't have the jungle saplings already, we could get the jungle saplings from the market and then get cocoa beans from that. But we've already got the jungle saplings, so maybe we will just do it ourselves. All right, that's okay. Well, the market's going to be there for later. And there's a bunch of seeds we can buy too, which is great. You fill out any of the gaps that you've got in your produce, which is good. What they ask for in trade is usually some sort of other good that you will be able to create already from basic farming. So wheat or beetroot or, various different things. Mostly wheat and beetroot, actually. Carrots, another example. All right, so brown coloring. We're going to need to get some jungle trees going. Now, we do have jungle trees because we used those previously to create our vines. And I do happen to know that jungle trees, if you do them the traditional manner through growing them and doing the twerking, your chances of getting cocoa beans are pretty low, if not non-existent at all. But they actually do appear when you hop them. So if we have a look at cocoa beans, we can see that under the bonsai trees tab, it's actually got a 30% chance of dropping up to 3 cocoa beans when we hop a jungle tree. So we've got some automated hoppers left, and we just need to create ourselves a chest. So let's grab a few more of those because we'll be using them. So just for now, I'm just going to chuck down a single chest. We're just going to put a single hopper on top because we'll want to move these later. And let's get a jungle sapling going, and hopefully that'll give us some cocoa beans pretty quickly. We'll come back and check on that in a minute. Back over to our automated iron production. Let's have a look. So we've actually got a partly filled basin there, but I reckon that one's probably already gone through. So, oh no, block of iron, it didn't actually. So we need to put some more iron amber in there. It wasn't quite enough. So, did I make some more amber? No, we're gonna have to get some more of those materials. So back to the iron materials, more acorns, more resin. Let's let's just create a stack more of that. So again, 4 acorns, 5 lots of resin, and that'll give us another bunch. All right. There is our amber going back in. Okay, brilliant. How is our jungle tree hopping going? There we go, we've got some cocoa beans. Fantastic. All right, so let's go back and look at that recipe again for the nickel amber. So, nickel sapling requires molten nickel, which requires nickel amber, which is petrified resin, bone resin, and sand resin. Okay, so we can get that pretty easily. We've got our petrified resin right here. We've got our bone resin right here. So grab some of that. And we've got our sand resin right here as well. Fantastic. Alrighty, so there we go. And we can create that. Lickety split. Bam, we have nickel amber, and then we just needed an iron sapling to pour that over. So, grab ourselves an iron sapling or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Just remove the cast from this table. Let's have a look what we've got here. Now, is that working? Is that automating the process? No, we don't have a catchment there. We don't have a chest, so that one's not working. However, this one is. There we go, we've got our extra block of iron there. So it's automating the pouring, so the redstone clock is getting that happening right now. And that is perfect. Now the melter's empty now, which is exactly what we want. So we're going to chuck that nickel amber in there. Now I'm just going to turn the redstone clock off for a second because we don't want it to fire up once we've got the amber in there because we want to pour it onto the casting table here. So let's grab our iron sapling, chuck the iron sapling down, and then as soon as that nickel amber is done there, we can pour it onto the sapling and we'll get our nickel sapling. All right, that's looking pretty good. Got some leather drying here for some things we're going to be doing in the very near future. Now that we've got our market, that opens up a lot of possibility with extra seeds and things. But this is what we really want. So nickel amber, any moment, and bam. Okay, let's pour that over the iron sapling. And that will give us our nickel sapling. We should have enough molten nickel in there. Yep, another ingot's worth, so we can do this a second time and get the second sapling as well. Nickel sapling, fantastic. All right. And let's see if we can do one more before we wrap up. So, looking at saplings again, what's a nice easy one we can do? Netherrack sapling, let's take a look at this. So, the netherrack sapling actually requires netherrack, diamond resin, gold resin, and redstone sapling. Now we've got everything except for the netherrack, but netherrack's actually pretty easy to make. So what we can do to make netherrack is we can actually craft it out of, where are we? Not there. We can make netherrack by making redstone amber and pouring lava over the top of it. So redstone amber is pretty straightforward. We can make redstone amber with the redstone resin and the acorns. So let's grab that. But pouring the lava over it is exactly what we set up this little area over here for. So we've got an additional casting basin here. We've got the lava tank in the middle, which is going to be heating our alloy tank later on when we start making metallic alloys. But for now, we can actually pour the lava straight out of that into that basin down below. So if we make the redstone amber, so I'm just going to make 2 of them, I think. Let's get that going there. Oh, hang on. What have we got? Redstone acorns, redstone resin. That didn't work for some reason. So what is wrong with that recipe? Let's check our redstone amber recipe. So amber, redstone amber. Oh, it's just the resin. Okay. Piece of cake. We can do that again. So 2 lots of resin, 2 lots of redstone amber. Let's chuck the redstone amber in the basin here. There we go. And pouring lava straight over the top of it will give us netherrack. Fantastic. And that's going pretty quickly. There's our other sapling. And there is our netherrack. Fantastic. And we'll repeat that one more time as well. All right, so now that we've got netherrack, we can make that, that sapling. So once we've got a couple going, the rest is easy. Netherrack sapling requires gold resin and diamond resin and redstone saplings. So, we have our diamond resin. We have our gold resin. And we have our redstone sapling. Easy peasy. And we take that back and we make ourselves our netherrack sapling. And that's done. 2 more saplings down. We're doing pretty well. So we've got another 8 to go. So 20 out of 28 of the trees. And a bunch of other things to complete on those advancement tabs. But that's pretty much all for today, I think. We've ticked off a lot. So with our basic automation up and going now with our bonsai pots and our metal production, we really need to remodel this platform. We're running out of room fast. We're going to have to give ourselves a lot more space to start building out. I want to get into some more automated resource production with getting our resource hogs and our truffle hunting going. And we've got a bunch more farming to do as well. But we'll leave it for now. That's all for this episode. Make sure you tune in for the next one where we kick off with some of those things. But thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, make sure that, as per usual, you hit that subscribe button down below and make sure you press the bell because that'll notify you when the next episode and other future episodes are coming up as well. So in the meantime, check out the rest of our content over at our main hub at channelendgame.com. We'll be back with a new episode very, very soon. My name's Luke. This is Channel Endgame, and this has been SkyFactory 4. Enjoy digging, and we'll see you again soon.